Hello. Today we're going to learn about expansion, but the power of the expansion will be negative. So for example, let's say if I have 1 plus x to the power of -1. So how do we expand this bracket? Okay. As you may know, the basic idea for this one is the binomial expansion. So even though I say that it's the basic idea is the binomial, but it doesn't mean that we are actually using the same formula. In fact, we are using an entirely different formula. Now, first of all, I want to show you why does this kind of binomial is not possible with regular binomial formula. So as we know, for the regular binomial formula, we have bracket n r and then a to the power of n minus r and b to the power of r. So the nr in here is actually n combination of r. So if we do n combination of r, in this case, for example, the n is equals to -1. So we're going to have with -1 combination of r. And this actually violates the rule of combination because there is no such thing as combination of negative. So in that case, we cannot actually do the regular binomial expansion formula in this kind of question. So what formula can we use? The type of formula that we can use in here is basically like this. 1 plus a bracket bracket to the power of n. And the n here can be a negative power or the n here can be a fraction. So it can be both. The formula goes like this. The expansion of this will be 1 plus an plus n multiplied by n minus 1 plus a square divided by 2 factorial and then added again by n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 and then multiplied by a cubed divided by 3 factorial and so on. Okay, so this will actually goes on until infinity. Now, usually in the test or in the test paper, they only ask at most you have to get until the third term or the fourth term in this case. So this is like the first term right here, and there's a second term, there's the third term, and the fourth term. So at most they just will they only ask you until the fourth term, but usually until third term is enough. Okay. Now I'm going to give you example on how do we actually expand this bracket. So example. Now let's say if I have bracket 1 plus 2x to the power of -1. So how do I expand this bracket? Expand this one, I just have to follow the pattern right here. So based on the formula, we have 1 plus a bracket to the power of n. So the a here is equals to 2x and the n here is equals to n. Sorry, -1. Now we can just plug in into the pattern here. So we have 1 first here, 1 plus, and then a will be equals to 2x and the n is -1. So multiply by -1 and then add it again by n multiplied by n minus 1. So the n is -1, right? So we have -1 and then bracket -1 and then a square. So remember, a is 2x. So if there is a square, so you have to square everything. So bracket 2x to the power of 2 and then divided by 2 factorial and then add it again by n minus 2. So that will be -1 and then -2 and then -3 and a cubed. So that will be 2x to the power of 3 and then divided by 3 factorial. So that's the idea. So then we can actually simplify this one. What do we have? We're going to end up with 1 and 2x times -1. That's just -2x and -1 times -2. That's 2. 2 times 4. That's 8. 8x squared. So plus 8x squared divided by 2 factorial. So it's just 2 times 1 or just 2 in this case. And add it again by -1 times -2. It's 2. 2 times -3 is -6. -6 times 8, that will be -48 x cubed, yeah, and then divided by 3 times 2, which is 6. Now we just need to simplify this one. So what do we have? We're going to end up with 1 minus 2x plus 4x squared, and then minus, so we can actually divide this number, so we get 8, yeah? So that will be -8 x cubed, and so on. Okay, and that's how we expand a negative power. So the type of question that will come up will be something like this, or it can be in the form of quadratics or maybe more. So I'm going to give you another example. So now I'm going to erase this one right here, and I'm going to highlight the formula in here and put it up here. Okay, so there's another example. Let's say now I have 3 plus, okay, maybe, okay, plus, let's say x, and then to the power of minus 2, for example. Now, if you see the pattern of the formula, always start with constant 1, like always 1. This one, the constant is 3. So what do we do in this case? So what do we do here is that we have to make the 3 here into 1. So how do we get that? Simple. Just divide it by the constant value, which is 3. So we're going to end up with um, bracket. So 3 over 3 plus x over 3. So in that case, we have to put 3 outside, right? So 3 in here. Yeah. And then everything is to the power of minus 2. Now, as per rule of the power, when there is a multiplication, so you can just put the power in each of the multiplier. So we're going to end up with 3 to the power of minus 2, and then bracket. So 3 over 3, that's 1. 1 plus x over 3, and then to the power of minus 2. Okay. Or we can just simplify this equation. It's going to become 1 over 9 bracket 1 plus x over 3 to the power of minus 2. Something like that. Now we can expand this equation right here, 1 plus x over 3 to the power of minus 2, the regular way with the pattern that we have for the power of negative. So what we're going to have here, we can write the 1 over 9 outside. So 1 over 9, and then just put bracket for everything. So let's start with, it'll always be 1 and then plus an. Yeah. So from here, we know that the a is equals to x over 3, right? And the n is minus 2. So an, that will be x over 3, and then multiplied by minus 2, and then add it again by n. So minus 2 and minus 1 is minus 3, and then a square. So that will be x squared over 9, and then divided by 2, basically, because 2 factorial. And then add it again by minus 2, and then minus 3, and then minus 4, uh, x cubed over 3 to the power of 3, that's 27. Yeah? So 27, and then divided by 6, basically. Okay. Now, what we can do, we can just try to simplify this equation. We can left out the 1 over 9 until later. So let's just try to still don't change anything here. So 1 plus, this one will be minus 2x over 3. Yeah, so minus 2x over 3. And then this one is minus 2 times minus 3. We can cross the minus 3 out with 9 here. So we're going to end up with minus 3 below here. So we still have a positive value. So that will be, oh, we can cross out the 2 also. So we're going to end up with plus x squared. So it's still over 3. Yeah, like that. And this one will be, we can cross out the 3 with the 27 if we want to. And the 2 with the 6, for example. So actually cross that out, minus 1. Yeah. And this one becomes 3. And this one also cross that out, it becomes minus 1, and this is gone, or just 1 if you will. So now we just try to multiply it. Minus minus become plus, and then 1 times minus 4, that will be minus 4. So we still have a negative in here. Negative 4 x cubed over 27. Okay, now what we need to do, just try to multiply everything by 1 over 9, and we get the answer. So we're gonna end up like 1 over 9, and then minus 2x over 27 plus x squared over 27, and then minus this one right here will be equals to 4x cubed, and then 27 times 9, and whatever that answer is, times 9. You can even calculate that easily for this one. But if you don't want to, you can just calculate it. So we have like 27 multiplied by 9. So 7 times 9, that will be 63. So 3 and 6 here. 9 times 2 is 8. 8 times 8 plus 6 is 24, so 243, like that. So we get 4x cubed divided by 243. 243, and so on. Okay, so this one right here is the expansion of this function right here. So yeah, the only way for us to actually expand uh, when the power is actually a negative or even a fraction, yeah, then we have to do something like this. Okay, and that's the basic of what we are going to do on the real question. Now we're gonna try to do some question that's kind of appear, uh but not always, but sometimes it can be. So the question goes like this. Let's say that if I have um x squared, I mean like minus x squared plus 7x minus 3, okay, and then minus 2x squared plus 3 to the power of minus 1, for example. So let's say I want to find out the term, okay, with x cubed, for example. I want to find out the term with the x cubed. So how do we actually do this question right here? So this one is obviously not a binomial, right? Because we have three numbers. We have the 2x squared, we have the 7x, we have the minus 3. So what we can do first in here, we can try to um, factorize this quadratic right here. So how do you factorize that? Well, there's a negative right here. So we can actually try to take out the negative outside. So we're going to end up with bracket -1 bracket 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Yeah. And then everything to the power of -1. We can do that to make things easier. Okay. Now, we just need to factorize the bracket here. So what do we have? We can try to multiply the 2 by 3 in here. So we get 6. And then we have -7. So that'll be -6 and -1, yeah? So we're going to end up with bracket -1, open bracket. So x minus 6 and then x minus 1, yeah, to the power of -1. Because there's 2 in here. So the one that can be divided by 2 is 6. So that'll be x minus 3, yeah, bracket -1 x minus 3, close bracket, open bracket. And this one, since the -1 cannot be divided by 2, so we put the 2 in front of x. So 2x minus 1. And then to the power of -1. Everything in here. Sorry. Okay, now we can actually do the question right now. So everything here is in multiplication, right? So in -1 multiplied by that, multiplied by that. So we can separate this into 3 multiplication. So we get -1 to the power of -1. And then we have bracket x minus 3 to the power of -1. And then we have 2x minus 1, and then to the power of -1. Something like this. Okay. So what is -1 to the power of -1? Well, -1 to the power of -1 is basically 1 over -1. Yeah. So it's still gonna give us -1 anyway. So it's -1 in here, right? And then we have x minus 3 to the power of -1. And this one, okay. So let's try to change the x minus 3 to the power of -1 here into the pattern of 1 plus a, or 1 minus a. Yeah. So how do you do that is that we can actually make it 3 multiplied by x over 3 minus 1, okay, and then to the power of -1, like this. And this one right here, we can also try to make the -1 here into plus, yeah, because the 1 here is positive. So just take out the -1 outside. So we're gonna end up with bracket -1 bracket 1 minus 2x bracket to the power of -1. Okay. We can try to make this thing into -3 actually. Yeah. So then the position in here will be changed. So we're gonna end up with 1 minus x over 3. So 1 minus x over 3. Okay. Now let's just try to expand the bracket again. So -1 and then multiplied by -3 to the power of -1 multiplied by 1 minus x over 3 to the power of -1 multiplied again by -1 to the power of -1 and then multiplied again by 1 minus 2x to the power of -1. Okay, so let's just try to multiplied all the constant first. So minus 3 to the power of minus 1, that's basically minus 1 over 3, right? So we have minus 1 multiplied by minus 1 over 3, and then multiplied by minus 1 again. Yeah. So this will give us what? So minus 1 is 1. 1 times negative 1 over 3, so it will be negative 1 over 3, right? And then multiplied by these two binomial. So 1 minus x over 3 to the power of negative 1, and then bracket 1 minus 2x to the power of negative 1. All right. So now we already get the pattern that we want. Okay, so we already get 1 plus a to the power of n. All we need to do, we just need to expand each of the bracket right here one by one. Okay, so let's try to expand the first one first. 1 minus x over 3 to the power of negative 1. Okay, because we already tried to do several example before, so we can actually split this up. Yeah, we can just go straight away into the pattern here. So that will be 1 and then plus an. So that will be negative x over 3 multiplied by negative 1, right? And then plus by n multiplied by n minus 2, n minus 1, and then a squared. So that will be x squared over 9 because it's negative square become positive divided by 2, right? Now remember, we only want to get up until x cubed, right? So we only need to do one more and that's it. So we have minus 1 and then minus 2 and then minus 3 x cubed over 27 and then divided by 6. Okay, that's for the first one. Now for the second one, which is the 1 minus 2x to the power of negative 1. So same idea. So 1 plus an. So the a is minus 2x here, and the n is minus 1. We can just make it straight away into 2x actually in here because negative times negative become positive, right? And then add it again by negative 1 and then negative 2 and a squared. So this is negative, by the way. I kind of forgot about this one. So negative, uh, and then a squared. So that will be minus 2x squared or just 4x squared. And then divided by 2 factorial divided by 2. And then add again by minus 1 and minus 2 and then minus 3 and then cube of the negative. So it's still negative 8x cubed and then divided by 6. Okay, now let's try to simplify the upper part first and just write it down here because eventually we're gonna multiply everything together. So the simplified version, this one will just be negative, what's that? Plus, so plus x over 3, yeah? And this one will just be equals to, okay, it's gonna be positive. So 2 and 2 is gone like that. So that will be, okay, maybe I just do it here. So 1 plus x over 3, and then add it again by this one. So minus 1, and then multiplied by 9. So that will be x squared over 9, right? And then plus, okay, so there are 4 negative here. So obviously it's going to be negative anyway. So that will be minus 2, minus 1, minus 3. We can actually cross this 2 with this one. So that's gone. It still become minus 1 though. So all negative. So it's going to be x cubed over 27. So plus x cubed over 27 for the first one. Put a bracket on it. Okay. Now another bracket for the second one. So 1 plus 2x, and then add it again by this 2. We can cross the 2 here. So it's minus 1. So we get positive, and then 4x squared. So plus 4x squared. And this one, we can cross this 2 out by this one. So it will be minus 1 and minus 1. So there are 4 negative, so a positive. So plus 8x cubed. Okay. Now, and then there is a minus 1 over 3 here, just to be remembered. Okay. Now, let's just try to multiply the power, the bracket here, that the one that will give us x cubed. Okay. So other than that, we don't care about that one. So obviously there will be 1 multiplied by the 8x cubed. Yeah. So we're going to end up with minus 1 over 3 and then bracket 8x cubed. Yeah. What else? So that will be the x over 3 multiplied by 4x squared, right? Which is equals to positive 4x cubed over 3, right? What else? We have x squared multiplied by the 2x here. right? So we're gonna end up with 2x cubed over 9. So plus 2x cubed over 9. And then we also have x cubed over 27 times 1. So plus x cubed over 27. Yeah. Now we just need to multiply everything by negative 1 over 3. So we're going to end up with negative. Okay, everything here will be negative actually. Yeah? So that will be negative 8x cubed over 3. And then add it again by, okay, it's still negative, sorry. Change the positive sign to the negative here. Negative 4x cubed over 9. Negative 2x cubed over 27. Negative x cubed over 81. And this will be the final answer. Oh, actually, no, actually, it's not the final answer. We still need to add them together, right? Because everything is on x cube here. Okay, so we can just make everything into over 81 to make things easy. So 81 divided by 3, that's 27, and then 27 times 8. What is that? Actually, we can just calculate it for this one. So 27 multiplied by 8, that will be 216. So we have like negative 216. I'm gonna put the x cube later on because it's gonna be the same anyway, and then minus by, okay, so 9 times 6 times 4, that will be minus 36, right? So minus 36, minus again by 3 times minus 2, so that will be minus 6, and then minus by 1, and then just put a bracket and an x cube, and everything is over 81. So let's add them. What do we have? So 216 plus 36 plus 6 plus 1. We're going to end up with 259. So negative 259 over 81 x cubed. And then let's try to check it. Can we divide those two? We cannot, so just leave it be. So in that case, the final answer for this question is like this. Okay, and that's how we do an expansion with a negative power. Just a bit of a heads up. This formula can also be used if the power is a fraction, like for example, maybe 3 over 2 or a square root of binomial. So you can also do the same thing. But we can discuss it another time. Okay, so that will be all. I hope it helps. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.